Hi, Suad. Thank you for being here. So I'm Lyna, and this is actually my first interview with a guest. So thank you for accepting doing this. So we're going to do it under the name of Voices in Mosaic, which is the name of the company that now with my friend we're working for several months now. So we really want to broadcast and to show people the importance of cultural representation from what the West used to call and is calling Global South. So from that, I really want to know more about you, about your identity, about the importance of your Kurdish roots, your culture, and if you can, have the time to share about your experience in Iraq and if you had an experience abroad as well. So first thing first, can you tell us more about yourself and maybe your journey in Iraq, in Syria, and so on? Let's go. The floor is yours, Todd.
Oh, so excited. Hello, Lina. So I'm Suad. You can call me Sol. Uh, where do I start? Where do I start?
Okay. You can start,
Where do I start?
let's start with the basics, like your name, your age, also where you are in Iraq, and what's like your main love story. Like what's your story? What do you want people to know about Suad? Who is Suad for people that are not knowing you and they want to know about you?
Okay, okay. Yeah, so hello, Lina. Hi. I am
Hi.
Saad. I am Saad. You can call me Sol, as in Sol the sun. Uh, and okay, not originally, but I do come from Syria. I was born and I lived in Syria for uh, 12 years, and then I've been in Kurdistan for 13 years now, so I'm 25. Um, well, I originally come from what we Kurds call Bakur. So that's the Kurdish part of what's known as Turkey. So one of the things, it's actually one of the things I'm very proud of to be a mix of three different parts of Kurdistan and to carry all of the memories and all of the uh, I would say the feelings of the people of all three parts. And I also can't wait to go to Iran and visit Rojhelat. Yeah. Uh, what else?
No, I do remember you because let's first tell people how we met. So I was able to go to Kurdistan. So for people that don't know where it is located in a northern part of Iraq. It is now the regional government of Kurdistan. So it's like autonomous from Baghdad, even though there is some connection with Baghdad as well.
Yeah.
And so I went there for a research program. It's a training research program with people that are interested into the research field. And Suad was part of the participants. And
Yeah.
she was literally embodying Kurdish culture with her clothes, with accessories. She was one of the most amazing dressed during this
Oh,
like week of program. And she's the one that helped me out buying this beautiful howdy.
I would
So
also like to mention that I have a very good negotiation skill. Like my
exactly. You
negotiation skill.
can,
So,
yeah. You also negotiate for the belt at the market. I remember that too. I'm
yeah,
very
yeah.
thankful for that. And so since then, I've been so interested into her. She also, I will show the pictures, but did henna in my hand. She created like duck. So it's
Yeah.
similar to my also cultural background in Mamazia. So we have similarities when it comes to that. And so Suad was one of the few people that I've met that introduced me to Kurdish culture. And since then, I've just been in love with it. So all credits to Suad. I will show if you allow with some pictures of you with your amazing clothes to show what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. But yeah, so thank you for that, Suad. Since then, it's
Oh,
been like, I
anytime.
guess, since April, May, June, July. It's been 5 months since we know each other.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
planning to
And
come back.
you need to come back. You need to come back. You need to come here. And I need to show you the Hafsa Khan vest. It's so good.
I'm sold.
Yeah,
I'm so, I have so many people that say you have to go to Suleiman, you need to go to Bakur, you need to go to Duhur, you need to go to Kirkuk, you need to come back to Erbil to see other side of
you need
Hawler. I'm like,
you
oh
need
my
a 1 year
God.
round. All like you need a 1 year tour. We need to cut this part. We,
I'm down.
yeah,
I'm down. But I will keep this part. I love it. Don't
it's
worry.
like
It's
I'm a little bit insecure about like sometimes when my English is not Englishing, so
don't
it
worry.
would be better if you can cut it.
I
Yeah,
got you on that.
yeah. What was I about to say? Oh yes, you do need to take like a 1 year tour all around Kurdistan, and then we'll take you to all places.
I would love because I really want to do all Kurdistan part. Like I need to see every part that I was not able to see because of work.
Yeah,
So I will plan at least to come for a month. That's like at least. And if I stop working, I will come for a year and settle in Kurdistan for a year.
I've never wanted
But I
anyone to
need
stop working in my life, but now I do.
I need the money, so we'll see for a year. But yeah, for sure. Like I need
Yeah,
to like it's I need I was supposed to go to Suleimani with some of my friends, but I couldn't make
yeah,
it for different reasons because of work. And then I need to go to Lalish with you guys, but I
yes.
couldn't come. So I let my colleague Gabriel, who's a friend of mine that came with us, came with me, sorry. And I was so sad I couldn't make it because I had to deal with so many stuff with a specific organization that I'm not going to say the name. So it was complicated for me to stop working and go with them saying Lalish. But I'm like, I will come back. It's like for me a way to say I'm going to come
Yeah.
back and I'm going to visit. So at least.
Honestly, it was the easiest selling to get you to buy all of this. It was the easiest selling.
I agree. I'm sold. I'm already sold for Kurdistan. I am sold. Like
Yeah.
this is no worries. Like I will show some pictures, but I'm always wearing Kurdish like accessories or
Oh,
clothes with me every day. Like here, you can ask anyone around me. I've been wearing that, and I've been documenting it to my friends. I'm
I
like,
love
I'm
that.
wearing this today. I'm wearing that today. It's from Howler,
Like,
Howler, Howler, Howler. I'm like, let's go.
you need something from the hook. You need something from the hook.
I need to. So,
Uh,
anyway, let's go back to some of our questions. So we know a little bit about you, and I want to know more about how would you describe your connection to Kurdish culture? Like you've said, you're from different part of Kurdistan. You're from the Iraqi part, you're also from
yeah.
Syria, and you have some roots also in Turkey. So how can you describe this connection with these three different region of Kurdistan?
Uh, to be very honest with you, like this kind of connections are the hardest to understand, and not to understand externally, but to understand internally, because like you're always wondering, where do I belong, and what part completes me, and what part do I complete, which I feel like is more important, at least for me personally. So my my personal journey started with kind of exploring my own identity and trying to figure out how do I feel comfortable belonging, because um, I am a refugee. I have been a refugee for 12, 13 years. Not anymore, by the way. I got the citizenship. I got the citizenship.
Congrats.
Yeah, yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. Um, but one of my like one of the hardest parts to kind of contextualize in my head for me was belonging. So one of the things that helped me understand and like kind of get the feeling of where I belong, where I want to belong, is the way I dress and also like the way I present myself. So one thing I always say is that like if you want to judge me based on how I look like, please do go ahead. This is why I do it. I do it intentionally. Please do. Um, I personally believe that the way I dress is a way of communication. Is me telling you who I am, and it's also me. It's how I feel comfortable being who I am. What else? Let me try to think. Uh,
Don't worry. It's going to be cut. Don't worry.
okay. But my train of my train of thoughts is lost. Wait.
It's okay. I do understand what you're saying when it comes to representing your culture through your accessories, your clothing, and so on. It's important, like embodying that and showing how proud you are, and also having this belonging, this sense of belonging that everyone is seeking. I do relate on that because for a long time I was really, and I even today I feel so bad. I was very ashamed of my cultural background. I live in France. I was born in Algeria, but I grew up in France from my 5 months years old up until now. And for so I'm Algerian, but I'm not Arab. I'm a Mazia, so it's
Yeah,
like another cultural background that is not that.
with amazing stuff and amazing silver accessories. I gotta say, everyone has
Thank
to
you.
know.
I got it here. That's so
حبيت.
cute.
I love this. I love this. I love it. Oh
I
my
will gift you some. My dad is going to Algeria. I will bring in some for you
yes,
because I need to
I
come
do
back.
want some. I do
Don't
want
worry.
some.
I will bring them.
Yeah,
And so it was difficult for me to relate to people because in France, the relationship between Algerian and French are kind of like very difficult because of politics and so on. And of the past, we were colonized for like 130 years from
yeah,
France. And
yeah,
also there is an historical roots in it where you were like either Arabized because we had to be Arabized by
yeah,
not only the French but also after the Algerian government, but then we were also Frenchicized. We had to speak French. It was
yeah,
like mandatory. So everyone has this idea where we're all lost. And so when my parents left Algeria, it was during the Civil War. We need to come to a country that is a bit safer. And for sure, France was like easier at some point for us to come because of this historical relation that we have. But then because my parents were like very scared that we will not be accepted or there was some, judgment because we
yeah,
faced that during administration process.
yeah,
My parents were talking in French a lot at home, but they were also speaking Amazigh and Arabic to make us also understand it. So now I'm very proud to understand and to understand both language more and French of course, but I am also not able to speak the language. Like it's blocked. So in a way for me to represent my culture and to be proud of it, I'm trying to, write articles about Algeria, about Amazigh, or also by wearing accessories and also talking more about it, like not being ashamed anymore, but talking about
yeah,
it. Now I'm like, that's me, that's part of me, and I belong to a culture that is important in my eyes and is part of my
yeah,
roots in my blood. And even though it's complicated because language is like one of the main point to be related to be
yeah,
linked to your
yes,
culture,
yes,
I also feel proud that I'm at least force myself, like my brain, to unlock this part of me that is not able to speak. And even though sometimes when I go back to Algeria, I feel like I'm like a stranger in my own land too,
yeah,
because there is mentality, but also the way I was brought up and the way that I don't speak my language properly. I need to show that I'm not like a sellout, that I'm not only French, but I'm also Algerian. So I
yeah,
tend to go out to show more my how proud I am about my country, about my history. So I understand what it means like for you, how it is important to be connected to your roots, to have this sense of belonging that sometimes us, you're Iraqi Kurds, you Kurds, you're Syrian, now you became Iraqi also, but you're
yeah,
Kurd. And
yeah.
Iraq
And
has like
also, like, there's this thing that we have with the we were speaking about the language. So one of the things that I personally have suffered from a lot is also the fact that uh, the same thing happened to my parents, my family. We had to speak Arabic, uh, and then I grew up not speaking Kurmanji very well, and now I only speak Badini. I do speak Kurmanji. Sometimes I feel like people who do speak Kurmanji originally do know the difference. Like my vowels are just a little bit different.
yeah,
Um, so I do sometimes feel like again like I'm a stranger, especially that I come from again like being a refugee and now having this citizenship. I don't want to reflect the again like I don't want to feel like a sellout. I don't want people who are also from Rojava, who are also Kurds from Rojava to think that I'm faking my way into like faking being another nationality or like faking being like not belonging with them, not being one of them. Uh, but it's the fact that I just did not grow up speaking Kurmanji, even though I understand it very well and I speak it well, but like they can tell the difference. So I 100% agree with you, and like I understand exactly. Maybe not exactly, but I have definitely been through the same
yeah.
kind of situation. Yeah,
Yeah, that's something that we can relate. Like we did talk to each other about this when we met in Kurdistan, and that's something that even more today I'm like I should embrace it, and so people knows that it is not my native language anymore.
yeah,
Because when I speak, when I try to speak, there's this accent, there's the way I talk, I speak, the expression that I use that are like, oh, you're learning it. It's not your language. I'm like, it is technically my language because that's my native, but I blocked myself not speaking it because
yeah,
I had to speak French for my parents, even though they speak French. it's not a native language, you know.
yeah,
They learn it at
yeah,
school. So I had to make sure that in French administration my parents understand what I'm doing, and they have to fill out papers. So I need to make sure that I understand the word and the meaning behind of it. So that's why I was more working on my French language than on my Arabic or my Amazigh language. So that's also the point where people need to know that it is not by choice that we don't speak the language. There's
yeah,
also a background story behind that.
yeah,
Either it's for your parents, they can be like forced Arabization or forced, speaking French or any other language. And then there's the fact that your parents want you to be accepted in a country that you're foreigners to,
yeah,
and that's also the dilemma. And I understand you when you say you didn't speak Kurmanji at some point, and then now you're learning it and you're embracing it, and that's something that
yeah,
is, you should celebrate it like you're doing. Like you're saying, you celebrate it, and that's amazing. That's the most important.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think like you mentioned something that I personally also relate to a lot, and I feel like it's important to discuss. Uh, the sense of belonging and like you wanting to belong with your own people. So again, I like one of the struggles I personally had is what who are my people? And there was also this thing of, at least for me personally, of like, am I from Bakur? Am I from Rojava? Am I like, I have an Iraqi citizenship now and I speak Badini? Am I from Bashur? So I had this kind of dilemma, and then I found out that like I went through everything that any Kurd from Rojava has went through, and I'm going through all of the things that the Kurds from Bashur are going through. And I've also, because like back when I was in Rojava, I went through the things that uh, immigrants from Bakur who were in Rojava went through, and I started realizing, at least to me personally, that it's my experiences that make me belong, like that make me feel like, okay, I am part of this because I have been through everything that you have been through. I have been everything that they have been through. Um, so yeah, that's. I honestly don't know how to tie this exactly to what you were saying, uh, but I feel like it's something that's worth talking about.
Yeah, I completely agree. And also to make sure that people understand, like any other language, like Arabic has different dialect, Kurdish has also different dialect.
Yeah,
There is
yeah.
Kurmanji, there is Baldini, there is Sorani, and there's many more. So can you're more like accurate on that? Can you tell in which part of Kurdistan you speak Kurmanji, which other part you speak Sorani, and which other part you speak Baldini? That way when we talk about the language,
Yeah.
people will be able to associate that very easily to which part of Kurdistan.
So people in both in Bakur and Rojava speak Kurmanji, um, and in some parts of Bashur. But where I live now, people in the Hook speak Badi. In Hawler, where you were, they speak Sorani, which I'm trying to learn very badly, but I'm trying to learn. Fun enough, I actually practice
Yeah.
my Sorani with like random Sorani taxi drivers who work in the Hook.
Don't worry, I
Because
was in Howler. I was like learning Kurdish, and then they were like I told you, they were throwing me words from like Suleimani. I was like, huh? Is it the same or not?
it's
Yeah,
like what we were talking about before we start the podcast, like basata. So
exactly. Yes.
I learned the word basata. It's Sorani, but it's specifically from Suleimani,
Yeah.
and it means something like deer, but like it's way deeper. I can't even describe it in English. Um, but I'm trying to use it with like every Suleimani person I know. I'm like, yeah, basata.
That's what we're talking about. I need to learn also my language, and there is so many dialect, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am completely lost. Let me focus on one of them, and then I will open myself to the others. Yeah. So here it is. Now you know the different main dialect in
Yeah.
Kurdistan. So now I want to talk more about for you, um how is Kurdish culture represented in Syria and Iraq? Is it represented in a way that you were hoping for, or you think there is some room for improvement, or is it represented in a way that is diminishing the Kurdish culture and the Kurds in general?
I will first start with Rojava because it's something that like the oppression that was happening to the Kurds in Rojava is something that I personally went through. And this is what I mean when I say I lived these experiences. I am entitled to feel like one of someone from Rojava. Um, so, for example, any we as first we have a celebration called Nowruz. It's on the 21st of March. It's the start of the spring, the New Year, the Kurdish New Year. We light fire. We it's honestly it's I would take hours to talk about it. So let's not go very deep into that. But for example, even celebrating Nowruz, it literally means the new day. Even celebrating Nowruz in Syria was prohibited, and this is me talking about uh, until the fall of Bashar al-Assad. And then after the fall of Bashar al-Assad, it, while in some specific parts in Syria, Kurds can, for example, celebrate Nowruz, but it's still like if they do share, for example, a picture or a video or something on social media, and then other people see it, in most cases, it's still kind of frowned upon because people feel like these people don't have the right to practice um, their culture, and it's because we haven't been doing that for a long time, like for half a century, and then suddenly, boom, we want to exist. We are existing. Um, so that's one of the things that I, as a Kurdish from Rojava, have went through. Um, Kurdish clothes were very frowned upon. Even speaking the language, for example, in schools or in public places, it would kind of flag you out in a very bad way, and kind of put the 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 government eyes on you, as we say. Uh, and yeah, so it was not very like it was not possible for Kurds to practice their culture back then, and things did not get much easier now. Even though practically, like technically, they are easier. You can do it, but people on social media, for example, will still talk about it. Kurds are still being kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but stigmatized for the fact of like just because they are Kurds. Oh, you are Kurd. Like you don't have to say you're Kurd, you're this, you're Kurd, you're that. No, you are Kurd, and that's it. That's enough to be stigmatized. Like it's not a stigma of something, it's a stigma of being a Kurd. Um, so there's that. Oh,
Yeah.
um, yeah. As for the experience now, as I'm living in the home, it's definitely way easier. It's actually sometimes I feel like it's even more encouraged, which I'm very happy with. You yourself were in Hawler and you saw how like people love to celebrate the Kurdish culture in Hawler, and something that goes for all of Bashur. People love to celebrate their culture, and honestly, salute. Like I love that. I love that. People love to be comfortable in their Kurdish clothes. People uh, love to listen to Kurdish songs. They love to celebrate Nowruz. They love to talk about Kurdish history. So all of these things are things that. Wait, I lost my train of thoughts.
No, it's okay. I can jump back and then you can remember your train of thoughts.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Like I don't know the experience of Syria. I just know that from what I've read that is a bit more closed on. And now we don't know yet how it's going to happen with Ahmed al-Shara. We don't know if it's going to be like frowned upon to be Kurd or it is more open. So we will see more about this. But it's true that from what I've learned that being Kurd in Syria is something that is prohibited. Whereas in Iraq, I saw that I saw it with my own eyes. Like I was very happy to see how people celebrated the culture.
Mm,
Like when I went to the university where we went, people there were some of them that were wearing like Kurdish clothes. That was mainly some
yes,
teachers, but then there are some even that the students were wearing the beautiful clothes, and I was like, oh my
yes,
gosh, I love it. And I was like, I need to wear some now. Can we go and buy some Kurdish clothes?
yeah,
I loved it. And when you go out, you see people that for sure they wear Western clothes, but you also see a lot of people wearing like Kurdish clothes. And I was like,
yeah,
that is something that is so beautiful and so pretty because so many part of the world, people tend to normalize wearing like Western clothes because it's more
yeah,
developed than wearing your own clothes. which typically is not the case. You know, wearing Western clothes doesn't mean that you're more developed
Yes,
than
no,
any
no,
other, but because it's how the media, but also how history have impregnated you that you have to wear this typical clothes that
mm,
makes you like, yeah, I have to wear Western because it's cool.
yes.
And we've seen that, like, it's
One of the
I'm not
things,
okay with this, but yeah.
no, no, I 100 agree with you. And again, this is one of the things that I love about Kurdistan is that if you're going to a formal event in other parts of the world, you would wear a suit. But in Kurdistan, even if you wear Kurdish clothes, it's still considered formal, like formal wear. So this is something that I really love about Kurdistan. Although we do have sometimes, um, so this goes for like if you wear something that's like fully Kurdish head to toes, that looks like you are wearing Kurdish clothes. But we have other things that, for example, Lina, the howdy that you are wearing, it comes from older women wearing howdy as hijab. So they did not have plain hijabs, like they had howdy, howdy patterned hijabs, and they used to wear them to like for their everyday life. No special events for their everyday life. Um, I remember clearly. I can explain this, but I will start with a conversation. That's something that happened to me personally. Um, I was going out with some friends from Hawler, and then I had this hawri as a hijab. So I was wearing it the very traditional old way, like because they would tie it like so they grab the hawri and they tie it like this, and then it goes under the hair, and then they tie it up again. And it's
Yeah.
something that yeah, it's something that you see a lot in villages, for example. And um, I was sitting with my friends and I was telling them, I was like I hate the city, I hate Hawler, I'm a village person. Because even though I love the culture in Hawler, I would still prefer the culture of the village of Kurdistan. Yeah. Um, so I was like, Hawler is a big city, I prefer the village. And then one of them was like, I noticed that you're who was trying to be nice, but I was like, I noticed that you're a villager by the scarf you have on your head on your head. Um, and I was like, oh yes, but I don't wear it because I'm a villager. Like it's not something that people and yeah, and he was like, people wear it in village in Zafa. I was like, no, people do not do that as much as you think. I am actually wearing it because I am a researcher in culture. And then he was like, oh, that's so cool. So I noticed the fact that it went from from being something that people in the village in Zafa wear to something that's like I don't know. I don't want to say the word peasant.
Okay, say it in Kurdish, and I will find it the translation after. Don't worry.
It's the word like I don't want to say the word peasant, but the way the way he was talking about me wearing the hawari was as if I was a peasant.
Yeah, like a rural person from the
Yeah,
rural areas. Okay, yeah,
yeah,
I see that. Okay,
yeah.
I see it.
And then and like it was kind of looked down upon. And then when I was like, no, I wear it because like I'm researching culture. I am interested in culture. I always have something related to the Kurdish culture in my like everyday looks. And then he was like, whoa, this is so cool. And then it went from being a peasant kind of headscarf to something that's whoa, this is so cool. Just because I affiliated with something that's modern, which is for example, being a researcher. So this is something that I have noticed more than one time. Like if I wear hawri right now, if I go outside and wear hawri as a hijab, uh, people will assume that I come from the rural areas.
Don't worry.
um, yeah. So if I wear hawri as a Kurdish traditional thing, I would be considered someone who's a peasant, someone who's from the I don't know
Yeah.
the rural areas of wherever. But if I wear it in a cool way or in a modernized way, I would be considered someone who's cool. And I feel like this comes from both colonization, but also kind of this Orientalist mindset,
Yeah.
because I feel like we have gotten to the level of we only respect our culture when we look at it from outside instead of from inside. So this is I'm sorry to say this, but it gives me the vibes of someone who's like a tourist and they come to Hawler and they wear a hawri and suddenly they're cool, like because they don't wear it traditionally because they don't know how
I
to wear it
see that.
traditionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
For
agree. I
example,
agree.
if I wear it in a very normal way, or like the way you are wearing it, like just like how people used to do it, it's looked down upon. And this is something that I feel like we need. It's not discussed because I feel like it's also not discovered yet. But it's something that I do a lot of autoethnography, and it's one of the things that I have reflected on a lot. Um, and I feel like it's something that we need to talk about more, because it's not only the colonized mindset, it's also the mindset of like the Orient, like the Middle East, or these, I don't know, the region is cool when it's looked at from outside, when it's studied, when it's being cool. Like, yeah, I have the Orientalists to blame for that.
No, I completely understand and agree with what you're saying because, like, I've seen it in Algeria how people are like wearing like they're more like judging. If you wear your own traditional clothes, you're perceived as like an old generation person, like an
Yeah,
old person. And it starts now to change a bit the mind, but because it is cooler to wear Western clothes, you wear Western clothes. And that's why that I do understand your point of view. And I'm also happy to see there is like a change of behavior. It started to change. And I feel like it needs to be more accepted and more understood because I feel like the more you wear your clothes, the more you work on protecting, and there's this prevalence of your own origin and your own culture, and it's like not going to be forgotten. And it's why I've been working hard. It's like if we've seen so many historical events where in order to stop a person or to like destroy a whole community, you need to destroy first the culture. And
mhm,
that's all the reform comes from wearing like this type of clothes, stopping speaking the language, forcing people to learn another language, and then adopting the mindset of the winner. And that's how it is for me important to advocate for culture because the more advocate, the more you protect it, and the more people know more about you, and no one will use this as a way to say, okay, we need to consider every Kurds as Arabs or every Amazigh as Arabs. No, we're not. And that's how I'm very happy to see that more and more we started to be more inclined on protecting it. But like you've said, still it is still like impregnated that if you're wearing this type of clothes in your own country, you will perceive as uncool or as a rural
yeah,
person.
yeah.
Whereas if you wear Western clothes, you're more like a formal someone that is more serious. And that's where I
And
want to
also,
leave the
even if
yeah.
you like, wear your own clothes, and this is what I was trying to say, even if you wear your own clothes but you modernize them, or like you westernize them, they're cooler than the real clothes that people actually wear. And this is a conversation that I was having with a friend yesterday, actually. And he was like, well, because when you wear them in that way, you're making a statement. I was like, what statement am I making? And then he was like, I don't know. And then I thought about it a little bit, and like I came to the realization that the statement that I am making when I wear them in a westernized way, or like in a modernized way, but still wear them, is the statement of the existence of the original thing that is looked down upon. So it's
Yeah.
a closed circle. Like, this is going nowhere. Uh, Another thing you mentioned is the wait, I forgot.
Oh, okay. I mentioned how I agree with you that we're now more opening into being like more preserving the culture, and that it is a way to protect everyone because culture is
Oh yeah.
always targeted by the government if they want to make a statement out of, you do not exist, you're not legitimate.
By the way, I focus on what you're saying. I just like I have a habit of forgetting. Uh, what I was saying is there's also the way we look at one of the things I'm going to talk about the most is clothes, because this is how I personally feel the most comfortable representing my identity. So one of the things that people tell me a lot is uh, actually, I'm going to start with the fact that one of the things that makes me happy is to see people who are inspired by my style and the way I wear different Kurdish pieces, and then they take it
I
with them and it
am
stays with them.
I am inspired. You inspired everyone during the workshop.
Oh,
I'm inspired. I'm the number one fan here. I agree.
how did they make that? I'm trying to.
I don't know. I'm not I'm too old for this.
Same here, same here. Yeah. So it's one of the things that makes me happy the most. And it's like when people start talking about this with me, or ask me questions like, "Oh, but like, how did you start doing this?" or like, "Why are you doing this?" Honestly, I don't know the why. It's just how I feel like dressing today. But how did I start, and why do I think that? Like one of the questions I'm asked is, how did you come up with this, for example, mix? Like, why are you wearing the Kurdish vest? I will send you pictures later. But for example, how did you come up with the idea of wearing a Kurdish vest with a skirt, for example? And I'm like a vest is the easiest piece of clothing to style, like literally. So what I personally thought about and reflected on a lot is the fact that our ancestors or like people from the past, they did not wear their traditional clothes to wear traditional clothes. They wore them because they were their clothes. And for
Yeah.
example, if I have a Kurdish vest, and the thing with Kurdish traditional clothes is that um, it's kind of a habit to wear it only once, and then like maybe you give it to your sister so that she can also wear it once, and like you only have one picture in it. There's a thing about Kurdish clothes which I honestly don't like personally. um so the way I do things is that instead of like wearing this Kurdish dress with the Kurdish vest for once and then like not doing anything, I mix and match with other clothes or like Western clothes. So for example, if I'm wearing a skirt and I don't know, like a plain top, I can wear a Kurdish vest on top of that and it will look so cool. And you know what? I can also throw in a Kurdish belt. And you know what? I also feel like throwing a Kurdish pin. I will also send you some pictures with the pin
Yeah, for
included. I love
sure.
pin.
Do it. Yeah, I would love to see that. That was
Yeah,
amazing. Like the way you were accessorizing and putting like jewelries on top of your howdy, and then how you were wearing your clothes for like the last day of the program. It was like I loved it because you were inspired once more by an older generation person, you know, and you wanted to represent that as a way to make a statement out of it. And that was something that I was like, I remember sitting on the bed and I was looking at you, the way you were trying to personalize and make it like old but new generation at the same time, but still being deeply connected to your roots. That was something that I found very pretty, and I was very happy to see that and to see how you were trying to make it like a plain dress, making like
yeah,
so full of colors, so full of accessories. And that's what I said, you know, wearing your own traditional clothes is not bad. You can just accessorize it and then you will look even better, you know? It's like, I
exactly.
love it. Yeah.
Exactly. And like it goes back to the point that I was talking about, like you don't need an event to wear your own traditional clothes. Like maybe I cannot walk around with a Kurdish dress. Kurdish dresses are very long, by the way. Maybe I cannot walk around with a Kurdish dress all day, every day. But you know what? Like the vest, wearing a vest is very easy. The accessories, the Kurdish pins, very easy. Howdy as a hijab, as a scarf, very easy. So it's just kind of to take the things that you feel like are related to your roots and to do them your way. Because again, this is at least how I perceive this. I'm not speaking from an academic point of view, I'm speaking from a personal self exploration point
Yeah.
of view. Um, I, I did not wear the Kurdish, like people in the past did not wear Kurdish clothes. Women who were also 25, like 200 years ago, they did not wear Kurdish clothes to give a statement. They wore them as their everyday life pieces because and they accessorize them in a way that they feel the most comfortable in. So why can't I take the same pieces, but also do the same thing? I'm not changing the culture. I am. I'm working on a project called Reconfiguring Heritage. So I feel like in this process, um, I am reconfiguring my own heritage. It's still the Hawri. But for example, I wear a hijab this way now. Like people in the past, for events, for example, they would wear Hawris with like different styles and like bigger pieces, and maybe it's too heavy. I work in the office, for example, or I work in different places. I cannot do that. It's going to be very heavy on my head. But you know what I can do? I can take the howri and turn it into a plain hijab the same way I do like any other hijab, and then I can just do that. Why not? So I feel like it's this mindset that we don't have. We think that traditional clothes only have one purpose, or like some of our traditions only have one purpose, and we should do them only on the day of, or like the events of set purpose. While you can do it every day, so why not? I'm wearing a shirt now. Like, I'm sorry, I'm wearing my literally my most boring clothes today.
That's okay.
But I had a very long day, and like the weather today is too hot, and I was like, you know what? The lightest thing I have color wise. Um, so yeah, I'm wearing also a pen with it, if you can see.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
wait, let me take it off actually. So the pen is made with
Oh, that's so cute. I love
yes,
it.
it's made with Kazan.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are actually yeah,
Is it
yeah,
like similar to the you know the accessory, the purse? Is it similar to the one that you have in the bracelet, or like I don't know, I don't remember the name, but I saw it like it's like coffee beans, something like that.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Uh yes. So this is also one of it, and like with another type of another type of bean that I honestly don't know the name of in English. But for example, like give me one reason not to wear this every day. Like one reason. No, you cannot find any. And this is what I'm pointing at. Like you don't need like you don't need an event. You don't need a celebration. You don't need a I don't know a special day to wear what you're comfortable wearing or to wear something that relates to your roots. You can just do it every day because why not? Yeah, and this is one of the things that I personally focus on a lot while doing the style that I do, or like the for every day. I don't decide that I'm going to look Kurdish today. I just decide that I'm going to look and feel the way I want to feel today, and then it's Kurdish clothes because they're very easy. Like, a vest is the easiest thing to style, so why not wear it every day? Yeah,
I completely appreciate this mindset, and I loved it. I feel like it gives perspective and idea on how you can also create your own identity through your own clothes. And it's not like you're forced to do it every day, but like you've said, if you have just one piece of accessories and you feel like, okay, I want to wear that, it will be more than enough. And it's like trying to at least break the idea that wearing your own traditional clothes is not cool and wearing Western ones is cooler than that. It's just
yes,
changing
yes,
this
exactly.
idea because I feel like it is sad that people, and we are forced to think that way. I mean, up until recently, when you go to social media, it was always like Western clothes, this type of model, this type of person that is wearing this coolest like Western ideas. But then
Yeah,
when you try to break down fashion, they wear the scarf. It's like us Muslim, we wear the hijab. And I'm
yeah,
like, me, for instance, I cannot wear that in France if I want to have a specific type of job or where I'm working anywhere else because it is not it is forbidden. And or we have to fight to wear it. And I'm like, but it
yeah,
is cool when you wear it as a fashion trend. It's not,
yeah,
it's like now we're reappropriating our culture into fashion. Then you've seen Asian cultures is also they put like as cool because
yes,
this type of celebrity is wearing it or because this
yes,
brand is
exactly.
making it. So I'm
This is Orientalism. This is what I was
like,
talking about.
exactly. And I'm
Yeah,
like, for me, it's like it is cultural appropriation if you're not properly showing respect to the culture, and that when someone from the same culture is wearing it, you should have said, oh, it's cool, and not, oh, wear something else. And
yeah,
that's how I appreciate this idea, this mindset. And I've seen that on social media. More and more people are showing the color, the idea, the culture too. And it's amazing to see that. And that's where I want to
uh,
lead this question is that for you, what role does art, music, and social media play in keeping Kurdish culture alive for the youth and the younger generation? Like we've said, so many social media are being opened to try to raise awareness about who we are and that we're not just this one and this one, but we're also, Arab, you're also from
yeah.
any African ethnic group like Yoruba and so on, or you're also Kurds. How for you, what role does arts play in general?
Speaking of art, I I honestly focus on specific things. So, for example, I cannot really tell you about paintings, not my field, sorry, but I can definitely tell you about style, and I can also tell you a little bit about music. And you said the word music, and I immediately remembered something. If you remember when we were in the car, me, you, Gabrielle, I think was also Damu and someone else,
Yeah.
and I played this song, and I told you that it's an old song, but like
Yeah,
they
I
kind of,
remember.
yeah, yeah.
You were the DJ in the car, and she was making us listening to any Kurdish, but also Iraqi rap songs. And let me say, she has the best headlock move. Like she danced so well with her head. And then the song, I was like, Suad, can you please send me the song recommendation? I loved it. And now let me show you before giving you the floor.
Yeah.
Let me go on Spotify. I have a playlist full of Kurdish songs. Let me show you. It was right here, and I listened to it like a lot of time.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
then
like,
Lena,
I really want to do that.
Lena, when they texted me on Instagram, she was like, "Saad, sometimes I see reels of Kurdish music or Arabic music, and I don't know the
Yeah,
name of the song." And I was like,
girl,
"Whenever
I
you
have
see
it
one,
now.
send it to me, and I'll give you full information."
Don't worry, I have a list now. I will send it to you soon with all the
Yeah.
songs that I was like, I couldn't Shazam, and I was like, okay, so can you help me out now to finding the song?
I was
Thank you for
Shazamming
that,
things
by the
for,
way.
of course, anytime. Um, yeah. So, um, one of the things that again made me more related and made me more feel transport
It's
and
okay.
made me, yeah, thank you. Uh, yeah, one of the things that made me feel more related to my own identity, my own culture, and made me feel like part of this even more. It's a feeling that I can't actually describe. I'm going to try to describe, but there's absolutely no way for me to describe it. So, how it made me feel. What's the word for how it made me feel? I don't know. I have no idea, Lina.
It's
Um,
okay. Don't worry.
yeah. Um, but one of the things that made me feel the way I feel about culture is uh, songs and like music, old ones, but also there is a band that I really love. Uh, it's mostly in Rojava. They're called Nargaha Wala. And the way they do things is that they bring old things but give it a new taste. So, for example, like again, one of the songs that we played in the car was like a 15-minute song. And it was a mix of different cultural songs. And it was so much fun. And like you cannot not dance to these songs. You cannot listen and not shake your head. You cannot listen and like not shake your shoulders. And the thing about this band is that they make me as a young person, they make me want to explore that old music more. They made me interested in it. They made me feel like why was I missing this? Why did I not know this? And funny enough, like this specific band, they released a song a few days ago, and then I reposted it on my story, and a friend of mine, we were talking randomly, and then he was like, "By the way, thank you for resharing that song." I think the song itself is talking about like it's a song about an old Kurdish, like they're singing an old Kurdish story. It was something like that. And then he was like, "Thank you for reposting that because ever since, like, I only listened to this song, especially that I knew the story, but I did not give much attention to it. But now I can listen to the story. So it's an old Kurdish story preserved in a way, like in a song, and in a very nice song, in a song that I, as someone 25, would listen to. Even though, by the way, the singer, for example, the specific one, the singer is very old, but the way, like the vibe they give it, it's very aesthetic, and I would say also not aesthetic in Orientalist way. No, it's actually Kurdish, and they just make you feel like, okay, why was I missing this? This is this is my culture. This is my music. I need to listen more to this than I don't know some random American pop music. Um, so yeah, this is what like when you were talking about the art, fashion, music. I can tell you about paintings.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure.
No, that's
Yeah,
okay. Don't worry. It's like
yeah,
when I talked about that, is that what surprised me, and but in a good way, in Kurdistan was how there was a lot of companies and organization that works into promoting culture. One of them, Nishtman. There is also
Yes.
KCAC, the Center for Art and Culture. These two are the one that I know the most. Oh, and also Kashkul in the American University of Suleimani. They're in it. I was able to discover more about Kurdish culture through the articles, through the archive that they are protecting, but also through the books that they were able to translate.
Yeah.
And through that, I was able to say, okay, I'm learning something that I didn't know that much and very well. And then I was able to dive deeper and to create connection with some of them, to talk with them, to know more about it. And that's why when I came to Howlet, I was able to know a bit more about, I had like a little baggage with me, like of knowledge, but then I was like, I need to exteriorize it and to learn more about that by being, in Howlet. And that's why I'm like, you need to open your mind to different culture. I feel like you should not close yourself with stereotypes of what the media is saying, of what your own brain is saying, because
Yeah.
of someone saying they're like that, then we hate them. Like people, most
Yeah.
of the time, when they talk about Kurds, they're like, yeah, they're just like land stealers. They want to steal lands to create their own country. And I'm like, that's not something to say. I mean, they have history. They're like people that have been in the Middle East for so long and have a culture. You should not, reduce them for something that for you it is the 100% facts.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, when you want to try to open yourself to culture and to different ethnicity, you should open a book. You should try to watch more videos, listen to
Yeah.
music, understand the fashions. And that's what, for me, arts like music, social media, because I will include social media in some sense into art because it tried to broadcast and spread identity in it and history. But then there's also clothing, there's fashion, and then there's also institutional organization. And for that, I'm very thankful that Nishtman or KCAC or
Yeah.
Kashkul do exist because it brings light onto what is Kurdish culture. And the fact that, for instance, Nishtman is bringing that into wearing the clothes, fully broadcasting
Yes.
only
Yeah.
in Kurdish,
Yeah.
with some English, sometimes it is full Kurdish. And then you have KCAC trying to work hard on preserving archives, trying to retrace the history of Kurdistan and Kurdish people into their work. And then there is Kashkul trying to translate the books into different language to make sure that people that does not know how to read Kurdish can read and understand what is Kurdistan. I found
Mm.
them very pretty and very beautiful. And I feel that it's so impactful. And that's for me a way that youth are now much more connected into culture because there is more fundings and more help into
Yeah.
protecting culture. And I love that so much. So shout out to Nishman,
This you
KCS, and
want.
Kashmir. Yeah, let's go. I needed to put their name here at some points.
Sending love.
Yeah,
However
check
it
that
goes.
word. Like,
However it
like
goes.
I think it's like I can't do it. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll do just like that. But you need to
Yeah.
check that work. Like literally,
Yeah.
guys, I'm not kidding. That work are amazing and they're
For
working
really.
hard. And they're a young institution. They're very young, but they have so well accumulated like presence. They're
And they
so
have the
strong.
passion for it. This is the most important thing. They
Exactly.
have
Like
the passion. They believe in the cause
exactly.
they're doing.
Exactly. I've seen their behind the scenes many times, and
Yeah.
I'm so amazed how every day they wear Kurdish clothes. They're promoting it. They're giving voices to the younger generation. They're also giving voice to the older generation. They're also
Yeah.
showing arts in it. They're creating like activities, workshops, and so on. I feel like it is so pretty to see that there is so many organizations now working hard on protecting it. And that's why for me, arts it is different. Like art is not only what we know, but it's also preserving something so deep and so rooted. And that's something that I
I
only saw in Howler, like in Kurdistan in general. Yet in some of the country, it's like emerging, but it's not as impactful for the moment. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen it yet, but for the moment, like being on the in Kurdistan, for instance, it's more vocal. That where I was like in some part of Algeria. Algeria is still timid, it's still very shy. They're working on that, but it's
I
like not as present yet as
yeah.
in Kurdistan.
I think that one of the reasons of why this is happening, for example, in Kurdistan more than it's happening in, let's say, federal Iraq. It's because Kurds as people, Kurds as a nationality, have been through. There's a little child staring at me and wondering why am I staring at a screen.
Yeah. No, you can. Kurds history is very hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to give credit to
Yeah.
that. Like, yeah.
So because Kurds throughout the history were suppressed and they had to prove themselves so many times throughout the history, they had to make sure that their culture doesn't die. They had to make sure that they preserve it. And now that they're finally like now that we finally can be vocal about it, we might as well do. And for example, one of the things that I would relate this to is I feel like representation of culture and a lot of times is related to resistance because I can also think of the Palestinian kufiya.
Yeah.
Yes, the Palestinian kufiya, the Palestinian olives, the orange. Uh, so when I think of people who love to culturally represent themselves and show their culture, I also think of, oh, these people must have a history of resistance. These people must have a history of erasure. These people must have been through a lot, and they're vocal about it. Like finally, they can say something, even if they can. They're trying to.
Yeah.
When this is the case, maybe like the example I can think of for now is Palestine, but also this is the case for Kurds. So I think that the case is very similar to Palestine, for example, people who have faced a lot of uh, other people who were trying to steal their culture or trying to suppress it. These people would feel the need to show their culture even more to make sure that it's preserved. They would give it to their children, and they would wear kufiya, they would wear a hawri, they would celebrate Nowruz, they would preserve their cultural dance, debki, whatever it is.
Mhm.
So I feel like this is also one of the reasons why in Kurdistan you can see it in more than many other places. And for example, the Middle East, I believe, it's because we as Kurds, we have a history of resistance. We have a history of being suppressed. We have a history of us trying to show our culture, us trying to be ourselves, us trying to celebrate Nowruz, but being killed for celebrating Nowruz. And now we can finally do it. Uh, uh, yeah,
I see,
that's
I see.
yeah,
I do understand your vision that when a country or a group, a ethnic group is oppressed, it's where the culture is much more represented. Like for my case, my culture is represented now by the government by making us able to learn the language, and we've seen that official governments, institutions, and slogan are now using Amazigh in it, which is something that it was a fight for a long time, and I was very happy and proud to see that our language now is shown.
congratulations, Lena,
Yeah, thank
congratulations.
you. Thank you. Ooh. Or the fight is long. We still have more, but I'm very happy for that.
Cheering
And
for
then
you guys.
exactly, yes. We're also very proud of ourselves because we also were from a moment where we were targeted, but we were also manifesting, protesting to make
Yeah,
us seen and understand, preserving our language, preserving our cultural clothes, but also our art and so on is still an ongoing fight today. Um, Even though it's a bit more accepted nowadays, but we still have to fight for it, to fight for our rights. And that's something that even though we've seen some like quite calmness when it comes to our actual governments, since we know what it is to be repressed and since to be targeted, we have to stand up for ourselves and to be prepared if there is some
yeah,
attacks or like censorship mainly. So I see, and I've seen that even Arabs in general, when you see them most of the times, I talk more about them because that's something that I know more, but also when you see Native Americans, or you've seen
yeah.
also like the the native in New Zealand and any other island, or even in South Latinos, they do have to fight to represent themselves, to break
Yeah.
free from the boundaries, from the restriction, from the censorships, and so on. And today, seeing that there is younger generation doing this, I'm very happy because they do raise awareness about something that people tend to believe that you have to be ashamed of that.
Yep.
And they were so repressed. They were genocide against them for some of them. And I'm like, now they are showing that we don't want to be seen as, we don't want to accept only one cultural representation, which is like white ones, Western ones. It
Yeah.
is us. We are proud of ourselves. We are who we are. And you should also enable us to represent ourselves. And that's why, for me, it is so important to protect culture, to protect arts, and having these cultural institutions. That's the
Yes.
main
Yes.
vocal part.
Yeah.
Social media is also a great weapon. But having also on your territory cultural center for that, that is where magic
Again,
happens.
we're doing the hard thing again. We're doing the hard thing
Again,
again.
Ushman, KCAC, Cash Pull, thank you for that. Now I will try to learn more about other institutions in other parts of the
Yeah.
world. I was working more in Kurdistan. Now I'm going to see and try to see more elsewhere. But yes, for me, it's important to have
Um,
this type of archives
now
being
that you're
protected.
now that you're speaking of this, yeah. So a few days ago, I was in Mosul, and I was at somewhere called the okay. It's originally called Mosul Heritage, but then everyone in the city started calling it the Heritage House, and now it's just known as the Heritage House to everyone.
I
Um,
like it.
but like the whole thing. It's a very big house. It's an old house that belonged to I think a rich man in the like 60s. I can't remember all of the details, but it's a traditional house and it's very old and it's made with expensive materials that made it last until now. Um, so there's this. The whole thing started from one guy who saw the house and then fell in love with it. Very traditional. He loves the city, and it has all of the. It shows all of the aspects of the city. He showed me some specific things, like for example, the specific arcs they make in Mosul, and then he showed me the different arcs inside the house. And so what he did is uh, work on this house. I think with eventually, not from the start. He started by himself, but eventually with the support of the UNESCO, he turned it into kind of a museum of the city. So the pieces in the house, he has different pieces, and the pieces were donated by people who live in the city. And for example, every because like it's not the biggest city, right? Like there are specific houses, especially if you go to most like houses are very known. So this Milan, like the X house, Y house, Z house. So every piece, even if it's a pillow, um, it will have the name of the house that donated it. So different houses from within the city donated different pieces to make a full house, a full like a cultural, like a very culturally accurate house. Um, I don't know if you, I probably do have some pictures that I can even like if you want to talk to the guy
For
too.
sure.
Yeah, and what he did is that like he started the whole museum in the house that like the house itself is also a museum, and he started the whole cultural institute from basically nothing, just because he believed that this needs to be preserved and that uh, this needs to be protected. And I visited the place a few times because of work. And when he was telling me about it the first time and the second time, I was like, okay, cool. This is a very cool place. I don't understand why your feelings towards it are very strong, but cool place. Like you've done a lot of good work in it. But then the more time I spent, the more I felt like I belong here too.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So it's a very lovely, and especially that my mom comes from Mosul, so I do have some roots that relate to that place. Um, so like it's a whole house with like setting, for example, a living room with different pieces, like pieces as small as a I don't know, starting from again a pillow to I don't know, a teapot, and they're all pieces donated from different houses. Like people built a museum. He helped people to build a museum for their city, for their own. Um, so the whole concept is very interesting. Uh, but anyways, what I was trying to say is that first of all, if you go to Mosul, do visit the House of Heritage. But the second is how we as young people have the potential to preserve our heritage. And like one of the things he said to me is that we received so many donations from people who wanted to give us like old pieces, who wanted to donate them to the museum. And the numbers were so big that we did not expect people would do that. So even people, if given the chance, they also want to preserve their culture. They also want to give back to their history. That um, and I'm saying this because I feel like when you do this, you are giving back to your history. Um, so you can see that uh, one young man built a whole museum, a whole old house with the support of the people of the city, um, because he wanted to preserve the history of the city.
I love it. I do love that this house have the sense of belonging for people, that they do feel connected to it in some sense. I like this idea. I feel like, yeah, I would love to have his contact info if possible.
I will make sure to.
That would be amazing. And so, I will probably finish this podcast with like one simple question for you.
Let's go.
From all this in discussion and how we were
Yeah.
able to exchange to give our point of view and so on and your ideas, if you can say like one message, not only to young Kurds, but also to people worldwide about Kurdistan, what will it be for you?
Um, I would say that because I feel like this is a message that I want to advocate for. So I would say that your culture is cooler than you think it is, and like as you said, what you think is cultureless is something people are trying to steal and remake. Brands are trying to steal and remake. So if you feel like wearing a Kurdish Jamadan on random day, Jamadan is like something they wear on their heads. If you feel like wearing a Kurdish Jamadan on random day, if you feel like wearing a pin, if you feel like wearing a Palestinian kufiya, if you feel like wearing a Kurdish vest, if you feel like walking around carrying, I don't know, a branch of olives, please do go for it. Please do go for it. I support you.
I like that. I like that. I will probably try to wear a branch of olive and wearing with them. I will try it.
Go
I
for it.
love
Go for
this
it.
idea. I love it. Oh, thank you, Suad, for
Yeah.
this amazing
Thank
time.
you, Lena, for hosting me.
I
Thank you.
really enjoyed our conversation. I will
I had a
definitely
lot of
need
fun
the
too.
pictures, the videos if you
I'll
have,
be
and the
sending
name
them
of the
to you.
person. So thank you for that. That was Voices in Mosaic. That was Suad. So if you want, we can share your social media or your LinkedIn. That way people can follow your work because you're doing
Yeah.
an amazing work in preserving the
Thank
culture,
you.
Kurdish
Thank you.
culture, not only with her clothes, but also with her work. She's working hard in preserving it. So I think I will just share your
I think that I
Instagram if
did
you
not
want
talk
the
about this.
LinkedIn.
One more thing that
Go ahead.
yeah, I don't know if we can actually fit this into the conversation. But what I work in is specifically uh and like feel free to cut this the way you want or like add it somewhere else.
Yeah.
What I specifically work on is young people's relationship with heritage, young people's relationship with their culture. So I do not focus on culture, and I also don't focus on young people. I focus on the relationship, specifically the relationship between the two. And this is why I feel like I would have, like, I definitely have more insights on the relationship that young people have with heritage more than I have on, like, I have information on heritage itself. So you'll hear me talk about that a lot.
I would love that. So I think it would be amazing that it is you preserving your culture identity through your clothing,
Yeah,
accessories, and so on, but also through your work. So it's like an amazing like circle of life, basically
yeah.
having Suad protecting it in a different way. And I love that. So thank you so much for this amazing work. Thank you for giving me the time to share to people who you are and the importance of
Thank you
housing
for
and so
hosting
on.
me.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you for
Suad.
hosting me with you,
We'll
Lena.
probably see each other in Kurdistan soon, maybe.
I can't wait, and you're definitely visiting the Hook this time. There's
Sure.
no excuses. You're visiting the Hook, especially if you come in April. You're
Yeah.
visiting Lalish in April.
Okay, perfect. So
There's no way around that. Yeah.
I will just bring my luggage. I will live with you when I will be to
Yeah.
Dohuk, and then we'll go to
Okay.
Lalish
Okay.
together. I'm
Sounds
down.
like a
I'm
plan.
down.
Sounds
That's an
like a plan.
amazing trip.
I do need a
Thank you
roommate.
so
Sounds
much.
like a plan.
Thank
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much, Suad. Take
Have,
care, and I
of
will
course.
definitely reach out to you very soon.
You too. Have a very lovely day.
How do we say bye in Kurdish?
Uh, so there's two ways to say bye in Kurdish. One is if you're leaving, and one is if the other person is leaving.
Oh, okay. So if
Yeah.
I'm leaving, how do I say
If
bye?
I'm leaving, you say Fatra Hawa, which means please
Patra Hawa?
excuse me. Yes,
Okay.
Fatra Hawa. You say
Okay.
to a group, which means please excuse me.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other one is Khair Bichi. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Pierre
So it
Bichir.
depends on
Okay,
like whether you're
Patra
leaving or
Hawa for me then. Then that's Patra Hawa. Patra
Khair
Hawa
Bichi. Khair
Suad.
Bichi. Khair Bichi, Lina.
Bye.
Bye.